All right.
It's been interesting days we've been having.
Very much
Interesting,
so.
interesting days we've been having. That's why you always got to find something small, some nuggets, some small little gems to brighten your day up. They will bombard us with madness and craziness.
Definitely. All right. Does it show that you could join? There we go.
I don't know. It's been requested.
You booming. It says I'm waiting on you. There we go.
There was a problem.
It was a problem.
Let's see. Let's try it again. Try it
All right. It says I'm waiting for you.
again. Oh no, there was a problem again.
All right. So let me try to join you. So I'm going to log out. And then you go live.
Give us 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
We are setting up.
Okay.
It's starting.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
All right. So just do it on your own, on your live.
okay.
Start it.
I
Microphone.
sent another request.
Turn your microphone down. Yeah, your microphone is loud.
Is it? All right. So I guess we're not gonna be able to join together on Instagram like we had planned. So I guess we can individually log in and do like we did last week until we figure out that technical difficulty.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Small thing to a giant. Let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. So go ahead.
Well, yeah. Let's
Let's
jump
into
it off in
it.
episode number 2 of Chocolate Crowns. Glad to be here this evening with you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
co-hosting with Mary E. May, Butterfly Love.
Yes.
I'm Delrico Fletcher, go by Fletch, since we family out there. It's been an interesting week, like I said, before we really made the introductions. We had some small talk. It's just always an interesting week. And you got to try to find the little gems, along this journey to put a smile on your face, to brighten your day, to just make it a little easier in times of chaos, times of madness. We just got to grab those little nuggets and hold on to them. So I hope everybody's out there doing well and staying healthy and being blessed.
I do too. Because life can, we already got a lot of stuff happening in life, and then you have relationships and just different transactions that happen all the time. So you always got to kind of go with the flow and learn from every moment because it's one conversation at a time.
Right. I definitely agree with that. So, like I said, it's been interesting. It's a lot of things happening in this world. That's what makes Chocolate Crown so important, is because we can take, things that happen in our daily lives and bring it to the forefront and shed some light on it and try to learn and grow and teach people and learn from everybody. When I was teaching, I used to, it was big on bringing in, news clippings and stuff like that about what's going on in your daily life. So,
Right.
and in 2020, you know, we all here. This one has been one for the ages. It's
It's
been
a
one
roller coaster ride.
for the eight. Yeah, but buckle up, buckle up. So it's been one for the ages. 2020. Like I was just telling some young people, when we look back in history, they're gonna see that we skipped from 2019 to 2021. And they're gonna say, "What happened in 2020?" And we're gonna say, "Never mind, nothing. That year was it was awful, but." We're gonna stay strong. We're gonna stay healthy. We're gonna keep positive mindset so we can work through all the madness and chaos. And we know melanated people. We know out there we've been under attack for a long time in millions and millions of ways. Peace King Luch has checked in with us on
Okay,
Instagram.
Luch. How you doing, Luch?
So, but yeah, just stay positive. Because it can be hectic out there. But that's why Chocolate Crowns is so big, and we're gonna try to elevate the crown and get you in a good space to maneuver through what's going on in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as always, we welcome all comments and feedback for every conversation when we come to you each week. So you got thoughts, you got shout outs, whatever you got, let us know, because this is a community affair that we're coming to provide and pour into you. So um, tonight we are talking about healthy conflict and manipulating relationships. So it's a nice twist, flipping the coin on both sides, but we are definitely going to talk about some healthy conflict. But before we go into that, I got a fun question to ask. You ready?
Let's go. Let's go.
When you change the toilet paper roll, is it over or under?
When you change the toilet paper roll.
I mean, because this could be one of the conflicts that couples have.
All right, people. So listen. You listen. When you change the toilet paper roll, is it over or under? That's a good question. When I grew up, so I'm probably gonna have a. I'm not gonna make it long winded, but I'm gonna have two sides of
Both
the coin,
sides.
both sides of the coin. When I grew up, I believe it was under, so it was against the wall. So in my head, it was like it could possibly touch the wall. So when I got older, even though it just does the same thing the opposite way,
Mhm.
I didn't like psychologically in my head it was better. So regardless, I think we might need to have a toilet paper roll that just stands up and we just come off the side
Like
and
paper
then
towel.
just like a paper towel and then that would, solve the problem. But if if this is a real issue,
Right.
granted, it may be a discussion in your home,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's a real issue about which side that toilet paper is coming up on, we might have real problems in this relationship.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
I think that's a quick fix. We gotta be able to fix that fast and be able to move on.
So
Like
what if it's every time somebody changes it and however they feel, they flip it on that side, but it's opposite of what their partner says. So what would you suggest in that situation? Are they just nitpicking, or are they, I don't know, trying to just make their stance unnecessarily, unapologetically strong?
so so I and I shouldn't say it's not that important. What I should say is small things do matter.
Hmm.
So um, I think if it's that important to your partner, I mean, for a guy, it really shouldn't matter that much, man. You just flip it up. If it makes her happy, just flip toilet paper, man. Like, you gonna do the same thing. And they use it more than us. So they go every time. They use it every time they go to the bathroom. So we got might want to respect that as well.
Right.
So you might want to flip it, and if it's the guy, he's a little bit weird like that, and he like the up under. I don't know, like some of the questions, and we've had conversations in the past. Some of the stuff in my head, I try to walk in other people's shoes and try to understand everything, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're so small they're laughable.
Right.
Like we can't be dealing with
Petty.
that. Like so, as fellas, we trying to be better as men. Just turn it the way your lady like it, and you can move on to something else, man, and fix something that really needs to be fixed. Because if we in this joint arguing, this war of the roses over toilet paper, yeah, it's a problem.
And as a relationship therapist, it's so many things that come up in regards to how people have conflict. So when you think about it, you would think that wouldn't come into the therapy process and or the conversation. However, it could be a petty situation or people are nitpicking, but it's like you just really have to have a conversation, or like you said, whatever seems to make the partner happy, that is not going to be conflictual, then
Right.
choose that.
Listen, I 100% agree with you. Listen, and I mean, you live life as well. Like I've
Mhm.
lived life,
Mhm.
and I try to equate that, bring that to the table because everybody lives life. So, but when you get to a point when you done with a person,
Right.
you done.
And it don't
You
matter.
they could blink wrong. Like, why are you blinking? Like you shouldn't even breathe. Like, oh my, like listen, we've all been there.
Right.
What's up, B? What's up, B? Shout out Rankin. Shout out Rankin. But we've all
Shout
been
out to PhD James. I see you. I see you. He
we
said it's
we
Petty Sunday.
we've all been there, man. Like you wake up and look, man, I'm leaving these dishes out just cause.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like doing stupid stuff, man, but we can't like and it's funny to laugh about because we've all been through some stupid stuff and as a guy you felt it. You you felt when the woman was like, yeah, she's sick of you. She mad. So the littlest thing that you doing is making her blow her top. It's hilarious because in my mind I'm thinking back like, oh man, I was done with you. Like, oh, I couldn't. So, so it's funny sometimes.
And one of the things I just want to highlight, from the perspective of being a relationship therapist, is that those petty things, be it dishes, you didn't take the trash out, toilet paper being over, under, those things are masking what is truly, truly bothering the
Right,
partner. And they feel more comfortable being petty and not really being honest with, okay, I'm really hurt, or I really feel some type of way in regards to something that you did or something that you didn't acknowledge, and
right,
you feel dismissed in some way. So it's like, okay, how can we repair that emotional hurt? Because sometimes it's rehearsing a pain that people have had, not only in this current relationship but in other situations, and it takes a while for them to actually say it. So it's easier to say, you ain't take the trash out, so you ain't get no goodies tonight, because I'm still
right,
mad at you from that, when they're not mad at you at all about that per se.
right. And listen, something small like that, you take from one relationship to the next.
Definitely.
That's why you have to talk to your significant other. You have to build this rapport. Like you can't take for granted that you think you know this person. You
Right.
have to ask even the smallest questions because somebody in their past may have done something continuously and it just got on their nerves, and you may have done it one time but you trigger something,
Right.
and if you know that and you're mindful, which you have to be if this relationship is going to be successful, you got to be mindful always of your other of your partner. So
And positively intentional.
Okay,
Like, once you recognize and can acknowledge what is your partner's pet peeve, don't continue to do it,
right.
unless you just really want to sabotage the positive growth and what you all established. It's like, okay, how can we come to a happy medium in whatever the situation is? Just
L-
create relationship norms for
Listen,
you as well, and not
there's
from
a
a
lot.
previous relationship.
Now, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who that's all they know is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they've ever been in relationships. So it's crazy to come across people who, if you're not hurting them, you're not loving them. They don't understand what real love is. They don't understand the conditional love. They don't understand the work in it. They just know what they've been given all of their relationships. They've been given the same thing. And like most people, people only gonna do what you allow them to do. So if this is the cycle, this is what you're used to, this is what you think love feels like.
Right.
And it's sad because even outside of my own relationships, dealing with children and parents
Yeah.
and seeing the hurt and feeling the hurt, and they only knowing it one way. They don't know what real. So now it gets passed on to everybody around them, especially it gets passed on to kids. So it's a repetitive cycle that we on.
Right. Right. So we talking healthy conflicts, and we kind of started with a situation, but I want to talk about when there's an argument for whatever the reason that has occurred. And remember, I just said that sometimes we do cover conversations or cover reasons on why we're upset. Um, it gets heated, and most of the time, when the conversation gets heated, the female will come after the male. The male is attempting to kind of retreat, be calm, resolving, and they decide to leave. But yet, while they're in the process of leaving, the woman is still coming after them, like walking behind them as they are leaving. What are your thoughts about that? Like, why? Like, I know I have a thought that I want to respond to, but I just want to know, what are your thoughts from a male perspective that should happen in that particular moment?
Um, those are tough situations sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it,
Mm-hmm.
because once that snowball effect happens, it can go downhill fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying it for myself, being a 6'2" black man,
Mm-hmm.
and you in a relationship, they're going to look at you like you always did this. And I mean, when I say them, I mean the ultimate consequence is you being put in handcuffs for a relationship when you were trying to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, before we get to that point,
I'm
before
sorry, I'm
we
laughing at the comments. Somebody said that they agree with you in regards to the toilet paper, but then let's just get two different rolls.
ain't nothing wrong. You can definitely have yours, but women gonna be using the man's role often.
Absolutely. Entitlement.
let's be let's be real. The man's role gonna be small anyway.
I'm sorry to stop you what you were saying, but go ahead.
Now, but so hold on, rewind, because I want to give some perspective as well. So, can you ask it one more time?
So you have a disagreement. You may have been having disagreements for some time, and they may have said, well, you didn't take the trash out. Then say, okay, well, it ain't about the trash. What are you really upset about?
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there.
Uh-huh.
And reason why I asked is because I'm gonna kind of build to the ultimate worst consequence.
Okay.
So let's just say it's just an ordinary day and things get heated, and the man feels like it's to the point that I need to remove myself from this situation,
Mhm.
which a lot of people have been through.
Mhm.
And sometimes, sometimes our sisters is they with it. They with it. They cut from a different cloth. So they feel they can be everything in the world. They
Mhm.
don't care if you 6'7", 315 pounds of muscle. When this little woman is bawling and raging and going, as a man, the best thing to do is to remove yourself, because cooler heads, especially as a man, when
Mhm.
somebody's coming and attacking a man, your natural thing is to defend yourself. And
Mhm.
sometimes you get caught in, is it a woman? Is it a man? What's coming at me? And it's coming at you so fierceful and
Right.
with so relentless that all you can do is defend yourself. So, fellas, if you can remove yourself. Before we even get there, though, how about
So when you say remove yourself, can they go to whatever the men's den or the safe place in the house, wherever that is?
me personally? It just depends on how much she's given.
Mhm.
Now, if you feel violence is coming, because that's part of a lot of people's situation too. You talk to a lot of women, they've been beat, hit, all kind of stuff. So if you
Mhm.
feel that's coming and some violence is coming to, you have to remove yourself as a man. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or about, because there's no coming back from that. But if we just having a conversation, a disagreement, we as adults, we got to learn how to disagree and not run. We got to learn how to disagree and solve the problem. But if removing it for a few minutes or an hour or however long it is to have some cooler heads,
Mhm.
that's what it's ultimately about, because you want to resolve the problem, not stay for on the same cycle 3 weeks later and you
Right.
arguing about the same thing. That's stupid. That is retarded. You didn't get with this woman or you didn't get with this man to be on this repetitive cycle of nonsense, basically.
Mhm.
So, as a man, you have to know the pulse of your relationship. You got to be hands on, all in. You got to know your woman. You
Mhm.
have to study your woman. And I mean, it may sound crazy, but you'll know the things to say and what not to say. You'll
Mhm.
know the things to do and what not to do. Like, you'll know if your woman has been sexually assaulted and you know about it. You
Mhm.
don't say anything about it in an argument, in a heated conversation to make it. No, that's stupid.
That's the wrong time. Just like if
That,
you're talking about money, it ain't the time to talk about people's bad habits or anything like that when you're having a serious conversation about what the financial platform or agreement or disagreement is. Like, it's not time to be
and we know in arguments, a lot of times people try to hit below the belt.
Mhm.
They try to be demeaning as possible.
That's their PowerPoint.
But ultimately it never works. If
Mhm.
somebody is doing that to you in an argument, I'm telling you, run fast. Run fast. Because in arguments, you can't be demeaning. You can't bring, even if we disagree, you can't
Mhm.
bring the other person's crown down. That's why we calling it chocolate crown, because we trying to elevate this chocolate. We trying to lift it up, elevate it. And as a man and a woman, if you have the other person's best intentions in mind, you trying to lift them up, even when you in your lower self.
Right.
Even when you in your lower self. I'm not
So can
saying
you
something.
explain that lower self a little bit? Just so everybody is on the same page, understanding what you mean when you say lower self.
So you have your higher self. When I say the creator, God, the light,
Mhm.
Whatever you want to call it, the goodness in you,
Mhm.
that's your higher self. You worrying about other people, you worrying about your partner, that's your higher self. You caring for your partner, that's your higher self. You got
Right.
to stay on that road as much as possible because this world is dwelling in its lower self. We got a leader who they say the leader of this country, that's what he does. He
Do
dwells
we
in
have
his
a
lower.
leader? I thought we was up for adoption right now. We got a
Oh,
leader.
little free agency, huh?
Yes.
Now we got a leader. Look in these streets. It's going down, man.
It's going down.
He's brought the lower self to the presidency. Opposite, and people may not agree with where I'm about to say. Opposite of what Obama did. Whether I agree with him or not, I totally disagree with a whole bunch of his policies and what he did for Black folks.
Right.
That's just the honest to God truth. We not dealing in fantasy or fairy tales on chocolate crowns.
Not at all.
We dealing in reality. And when we go check all the laws and all the taxes and everything that was done and wasn't speaking up for little Black kids, and that's why when this white man brings that lower self energy, now we get murdered at an enormous rate.
Right.
Like we have to dwell in the higher self. So it's just about being good and bad. And we know when we're good and we know when we're bad. That
Okay.
may sound cliche, like you know the energy somebody's giving off before they even open their mouth. You
Right.
know what kind of energy they giving off. What's up, brother? Got some people checking in from back at Woody Hive with me.
Okay.
My man Corey, what's up, baby? Um, but you know, it's just about being good and bad, and that's what we need. We need way more good people to show their hands. So when you're in a relationship, you need to elevate your queen. You need to elevate your king. You gotta elevate.
Mm-hmm.
So when we having issues or disagreements, it's always about figuring it out, coming to a solution in the best possible way. I mean, and we all human, so we may agree to disagree, but it's ultimately about raising up that other person and coming to some kind of solution that moves us forward.
So I think that I know that I agree with some parts of what you said. The part that can be challenging is when whoever it is, male or female, leaves the house. That communicates something totally different to the person who remains in the house. Whether you were in the protective state of not trying to become physically aggressive, it communicates that when things get tough, when things get deep, you rolling out and you just gonna leave me at abandoned. And if I have abandonment issues from whatever has expired in my life or transpired before we got to this place, I'm carrying all of that to all of the people who have abandoned me or left
Right,
me at a particular time when I'm thinking, even though I'm coming wrong as the female and following you out the door, I'm coming at you in the space of which I know. So, I haven't gone to therapy or I haven't gone to any space where I learned how to change the way that I approach conflictual situations. But I'm coming at you the way that I know. And if that's straight hood or straight or trying to get my point across because I want you to hear me, I want you to hear me and I want you to see me. So
right,
they become very, very like important to them to kind of push that envelope, like, no, let's finish it now. Whereas before an argument, when everything is calm, is when you should establish what it's going to look like if we ever have a disagreement, because you're human. And human nature is you're not going
right.
to agree on every little thing that occurs. So you have to have that negotiation, that understanding, that balance in your, as the king and as the queen. What is it that you mutually need, or what is it that you give to each other that's going to help you guys have a healthy, sustainable, long-term relationship?
No, listen, and it sounds funny, but I don't know if you want to call it role playing or like you said, bringing it up when we in our calm state, when we in our chill mode,
Mm-hmm.
when when we at our most
when you
relaxed.
Netflix and chilling.
Yeah, when you at your most relaxed, and you bring up difficult conversations, because if you never seen this person that you laying next to under stressful situations,
Right.
you don't know how they're going to react.
Right.
So if the man does walk out the house, he might leave the house. It might be good for you that he left the house.
Right.
Now, if he comes home and the first thing he does is say, listen, I had my breather, I had my time, let's fix whatever it is. Are you ready to fix it? I can't force you because I walked out. So
Right.
let me
And I
know
don't
when,
know what transpired while I was
yeah.
away. And
So
you
let me know when you're ready because I'm ready now. So
mhm.
now I put the ball back in your court.
Mhm.
So now we could. Now you probably the first thing you probably gonna do is address why the f you leave? Why you leave? that's that's gonna be the first. That's gonna be the first thing we probably gonna have to address.
And where did you go? What
Yeah,
did you
there's a
do?
couple questions I
Yeah,
would.
did you go see some side joint, or you like, I just went to the cigar place. I just
Listen.
I went.
Hopefully, see, we're not gonna add all of that onto
Okay,
this right now
all right, we'll do that another one.
because that's gonna make the brother look bad. That's
Hmm.
gonna make because I'm the one who leaving. But all I'm doing is going to leave to get air. And any of my brothers out there who listening to my voice
Yeah,
know
please
this. You have hopped in the car. You have you drove wherever. It's the car
mhm,
just went. You went and did stupid stuff. I
right,
mean, dumb stuff. Like, Kevin Hart
not
said, I
irresponsible
was
stuff, but
feeding
just
I
dumb
was
stuff.
feeding pigeons. Like I was I was doing something stupid, but every man knows that.
Right.
We ain't always out there cheating and trying to find out if the grass is greener on the other side.
But
We're
and that leads to just another conversation that should be had when things are calm, about what is it that individual is bringing into the relationship, that's their automatic default,
right.
or what has happened in the relationship prior that causes that to be their automatic default, because something has occurred to make them think that way or to respond and react that way. And it's like, okay, like, I'm here with you, linking up, king and queen. How can we resolve this together? How can I support you that you don't feel that way, but that you can just understand that air is needed?
Now I tell people this also, to give this situation a little bit more, substance. If the guy comes in, is the guy who's walking out the door.
Mm-hmm.
If he comes from a relationship where, or a home structure where there's two parents and he's seen his father may have handled that way and told his son, "Listen, son, when something happens, you got to remove yourself, come back with a cooler head."
Right.
Even with a so then that same guy could not have a father. He could have been like Fletch, and my father wasn't there to give me game like that.
Right.
So it's a learning process. And as crazy as this gonna sound, there's a lot of brothers out here who Bill Cosby is who I follow. Mr. Huxtable is my example. He was my example of some of the things that went on and how to resolve. And also, when I got a little bit older, I watched Martin. I
Right.
watched Martin and Gina, a young black couple. We can nitpick at the actual what the show is about, if there was any substance, but to me that was the substance. It was
Right.
a young black couple and I watched them navigate this life we had. I watched them navigate everything. I watched Gina and Martin grow, and Martin walked out, Gina walked out, Martin walked
Right.
in, you know what I'm saying? So it was a totality of everything for somebody who didn't have a man in the house to say, "Boy, this is how it's done."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I walk out, I might have a father, I might not have had a father who gave me game on certain things. You as the woman, this woman She might come from a single parent home where all she heard was her mother say F men. Men
Right.
ain't this, men ain't that, men ain't, never took blame for anything she did. You know what I'm saying? So all of that is mixed up in it. So if I was telling a woman, I would say, allow that man to go get the air that you, because we're not talking about cheating. We talking about him just going out there, clearing his mind, seeing where he was wrong, reflecting, and coming back and fixing his home. That
Right.
might not work for some people. Some women might be pissed off that you left. So you might have to understand your woman and go in the man cave. Hopefully you don't live in the efficiency. If you live in the efficiency, I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna be rough.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to get you a little
Hopefully,
tent.
if it is an efficiency that you're living in a complex or a community, that the community has other spaces that you could go to, that you're not technically on the road, because of course we don't want you full of anger and behind a vehicle and then something happens, while
Right.
you're behind that vehicle. But these are the things you got to talk about, in advance, because they're important. Or when they happen and they've happened over time, um you have to realize, okay, this is a pattern, and it could be a pattern that flows, every so many days, or every time, just certain situations happen. But the other part is, we do exist outside of our relationship, so we don't always know when something at work, or for business owners, or we have children, if those things are heavily in our energy and in our mind, how they are playing a part, even though it hasn't been verbally stated. It has some influence, and it's like, okay, how can I just swivel through all of those different things and be present for what it is that we need to deal with and talk about.
Yeah, no, you 100% right. And I'll give people a little bit of advice real quick before we go on to our next topic or whatever. But when you're in a relationship, you got to also remember, when you whatever goes on in your life, your partner cannot be the dumping ground for all your madness in your life.
Right.
You got to learn how to give off information without your partner feeling like you just unloading on them, because they have nowhere to unload on.
Right.
Like, there's no space for, I guess, the person to even receive what was going on in your day. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, okay, I know you want to vent. We understand that. But I think for guys, and I'm speaking for guys to women, understand when
From
it
your
looks like
perspective, in your opinion.
it's this is facts. No,
I try to give you a disclaimer.
no, this is my opinion. This is this is my opinion with a lot of research and a lot of homework and a lot of
Research and
studying. If
development.
if you know me, you see on the screen there's not a lot of letters after Del Rico Fletcher, but I'm self-taught in this thing. I read and study like a madman. I wish I was a nerd like this as a young kid, but um so but you just you can't dump. You can't dump and dump and dump and dump and dump, because men, when you see it, we're surface people. So the minute something is off and you say, "Are you listening?" He's not listening. He's not listening. See, ladies, you thinking it's all gonna be about? Nah, I'm speaking the truth. He
Mm,
turned off because it was he. Let's just say, for instance, he just came in from work,
right.
and and
I
you
was going to
just
ask that question.
and he's a construction worker. He's welding. He's doing all kind. He had to climb the 25-foot ladder. He's swinging off the thing. He done scraped up his arms, fell
Right.
down off the. And the first thing you do when he come in the door is like, we cannot do that.
No,
No,
definitely. You gotta
no.
give time.
Like that's dead serious, ladies. You will run your man off so fast, and then y'all will point
I
the
wonder how
finger.
many people. Let me pause you real quick, and people can put it in the comments. How many people sit in the car before they go in the house just to kind of give themselves a cushion of how much time they need or should try to grab and plan and organize before they enter into the house, even though their partner knows that, okay, I need a good minute, or you can kind of tell body language when they're ready. So if they could just add that in the comments, that would be helpful.
Yeah, a lot of men do it. A lot of men do it. But I'll tell you this. I used to tell people you should live 30, 35, 40 minutes from where you where you work.
Right.
Because that 40-minute drive to decompress is
Hmm.
amazing.
It is.
Is amazing. Like it does wonders, man. So
Mhm.
it may sound crazy, might add a little couple dollars because gas ain't cheap, but for your sanity, for some clarity, so
Right.
that you could dump all of it in the car on your favorite song. You could dump
Right.
most of it on, and I know you'll be all professional and you got your nice dress on, you got your nice suit on, but you gotta play some of your hardest hip hop,
Or
ratchet.
house music.
Oh, yep. How you like that house
House music
music?
all night long.
Yeah. So for your house heads, line dance people, do 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 do. Yeah, y'all do that. For the hip hop heads, you might get your 50 Cent, and it'll be you'll be 10 years into your career and looking professional, but you need that decompression time. And I know for me, it used to work in the car, and I would just turn the music up and let it go. So for women, man, and even for men, because it goes both ways. I'm saying it, but I'm speaking for men. But now I'm speaking to the men. We got to be the same way, man. If you can make your partner's day easier, that's what you're supposed to do, man. Somehow, some way, you make it a little smoother for them because we know it's crazy, it's madness out here. So if you can make it smoother for them in any possible way, that's what you do, man. It only helps in the long run. It only helps in the long run.
And it's a mutual situation. I think that the women need to also do the same thing, and letting their partner know what it is that they need, because hopefully you've had some communication throughout the day, even if it was a quick phone call or a text message or something. But depending on their scope of work, everybody needs a moment to decompress.
I'll tell you this though, because you just brought something up today's day and age with how many ways you can communicate with your partner is outrageous. Like I'm just thinking back to it, like in the 80s and 90s, you only heard from me when I got home.
Hmm.
Like you had a pager. I told my little girlfriends at the time I ain't have a quarter. I didn't have a quarter to call you back. But now you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got Messenger, Snapchat, Duos, Googles. Your phone makes all kind of noises. So your woman is like, why haven't I heard from you? Like,
Why?
what's there's no excuse because and we I mean I've heard fellas come up with some good ones, man. So ladies, if the brother's phone is always off, that's why, because they gave you too many ways to got 50,000 ways to just say what you doing.
And then sometimes, depending on the level and status of your relationship, that what you're doing is triggering a conflict. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck you mean what I'm doing? I'm out here grinding so I can pay whatever bills or so we can go on vacation.
Listen,
Like,
shout out,
give me
shout
some
out
substance.
shout out to Luch because he's married, so I know his what you doing is different than a lot of other people's. Like you said, you the wrong person asks you what you doing. Like at the beginning of Chocolate Crowns, and that person you fed up with asks you what you
Right.
doing. Like, what you mean? What I'm doing? Why is you even calling me? So
Right. They about to go on the special invitation to the block list with the
Nah, that's
WYG. Hit me up with some content, please.
yeah, that's funny, man. That is funny, man. Shout out to Luch, man. That's my guy, man.
So on Chocolate Crown, we wanted to kind of hit this topic that's hitting the world by storm this particular week. And you know, how often do people manipulate relationships? So do you have a situationship? Are you entangled? Are you manipulating the situation? I don't know how you want to enter into this conversation, but I'm a pass the baton to over to you with that one.
Are you are you in an entanglement?
Right.
So the
What is that?
elephant.
That's a legal term. How did that become a relationship word?
Nah, that's listen. I researched it, man. And
Okay.
I'm good
Drop
with
your
root
nugget.
words. I'm good with root word suffixes and all that. But the elephant in the room is that our little sweetheart, our little darling, our little woman from back in the day from Baltimore. We love her to the core.
Be
We
more
found
careful.
out she's stone cold manipulative.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. There's no other way around it. But before we get to that, um, the elephant in the room is that, that her round talk table, her and Will, they got up there and, addressed what was going on. And, I joked about that as far as with Jada, but, you know, I'll say it first like this. None of us in this real world should be following relationships of Hollywood as any standard set at all. At
Saying that that's our
all.
relationship goals is to be like
Yeah. No, we
someone
can't.
we see or idolize on the media. Not we don't know the full picture. We just know what we see until somebody who don't follow the non-disclosure statement come and hit Twitter.
Woo, woo. Somebody, somebody who got some good old veteran cookie. He got some good old veteran cookie, and as you can see, she built him up to break him down. Now, this is not.
But he was already broken, which is
This
my
is
challenge.
yes. This
Because
is
I
not.
feel like I'm
This
not
is
going to
not
break
my
myself
words.
anymore,
This,
right?
no, this is not my words. That's Jada's words. She said he came to us. We were trying to heal him and fix him. And but what she didn't say was that she was broken. She needed fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Will Smith, Will Smith needed somebody to slap him out of the Get Out movie because we just got a glimpse of the craziness that happens and all men. Yeah, I love to be in threesomes and all that kind of stuff. I would be cool in an open relationship. I would be good until that queen that you spent all your time and all your effort with is being mounted, is being explored, is being every which word you could think of by another man.
So
No,
they
go ahead.
were they're married.
They are
However, they
married.
were on a break.
They were on their break.
Whatever that means. And I know from my perspective, I know I help people with having structured breaks and setting up the parameters and so forth like that. We don't have that much information about their break.
They
Their
was on
so
a. He took a break. He took a break. And then hold on
So
for
is it an
all my.
affair? That's the question. So is it an affair?
Is it a fit? No, it's not.
I'm sorry, go
They they are cuckoo. That's why all of it just seems craziness. It's a weird puzzle. It's puzzle pieces from another puzzle that don't go in this puzzle. It's
right.
it don't all fit together.
You got
Like,
your puzzle pieces there.
yeah, these is my puzzle pieces, man. And when you got puzzles from three different puzzles and you try to put together, it don't work. It
Hmm.
does not. It does not work. I don't
Right.
want to blame all of it on Jada because obviously she was hurt long before this.
She got hurt from her family of origin as well as probably previous relationships. When I say family of origin, I'm talking about her mom and her dad. I
Right.
don't know if she has siblings. I haven't heard anything about that, but definitely from her mom and her dad, that informs how she shows up in relationships. And she apparently hasn't resolved all of what that residue is. And again, how we say, have those conversations before it becomes conflictual or in a disagreement, because your partner can be your partner to help you heal. Not the kind of healing that was just described as far as what she did, but I'm just saying heal for
Oh,
you
she
showing
healed.
up and being better.
She healed. She
She
wore some hit. She
can I
wore
say
some
it
heels. All
also?
right. She wore some heels.
She wore some heels, probably
she wore.
temporarily.
She wore some heels. And but you know what's crazy is it seems that that's what she was seeking out even long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Smith, without even knowing all of his background, I don't know if his father was in his life,
Right.
right? What I can say is he's an awful spotter of somebody who really loves him or doesn't love him at all. He is,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't listen. See, his in his arrogance, he thought he could change her really loving him.
Right.
He said it. She cried after we got married. There was nothing I could do to make her happy.
Right.
What else do you, Bing? What else do she got to do to say there's not? Listen, that's the man's ego and pride. I don't know if that's women like to grab men and see if they can nurture them. Maybe it's just a human thing. We could change people.
Right.
You can't change nobody until you're smart enough to get that person to possibly look in the right mirror and start fixing themselves.
Because they choose to, not because they're doing it for somebody else. They have to choose to want the change that is desired in the relationship, or it's never going to be 100% investment into what that change looks like.
Listen, he is, and I've made mistakes, and I've tried to step outside my own shoes and see, I mean, sometimes what we consider love, it'll blind you like crazy
Right.
when it's really hidden with the lower self of lust,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what she uses as her weapon. On the first episode, I talked about the power of the black woman and how much credit and respect, and that same power can be used for evil to manipulate. That
Mm-hmm.
same power, that womb is being used for wickedness. That is a wicked womb. There's no doubt about it. That womb is dangerous, man. The power of the cookie is out of this world. And we can laugh, we can joke, but it's made all of us men do some retarded things. In the comments, if I was able to get all the men to put down what's the craziest thing you did for a piece of cookie, we would laugh all night long.
Right.
The power of it, and she
Besides
knows
the
it.
fact that they wouldn't feel comfortable putting it out there.
Oh yeah, them brothers
Right.
wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. But she got him the same kind of way a long time ago. And the sad
Mm-hmm.
thing is, she talked about healing the young brother. When I seen him bring it up, that didn't look like a healed person to me.
Right.
When I seen him talk about, everybody's talking about, yeah, he's trying to sell albums. The record label wants him to sell albums. They don't care if that young boy is healed or not. He
Right.
looks like he's still. And then I went back and I matched up. She said 4.5 years ago. He's 27. This boy was 22, possibly 23 years old. And that's what she did. And that's what she did. If it
So
was a man, I'm sorry, this would be my last.
No
And,
problem.
and then if it was a man, we would be looking at it so differently,
Absolutely.
so differently, so differently. I ain't gonna beat it and belabor it. The point.
But the thing that what I'm going to say you might have a comment to, and the fact that she's a sexual predator.
eh,
She manipulated the healing relationship that was supposed to be established, and she was a predator on him already not being 100% in the right state of mind, and persuaded a situation. And I'm not saying that August is innocent in this whole process, but if he's already being presented, she used the word fragile, she used the word that he wasn't, healthy, or, he needed some help, that he was deeply, deeply hurt. So if he was, we keep
hold
talking
on,
about him as,
hold that, hold that 1 point. Shout out to my homie BJ. I walked 10 miles for some cookie.
oh
I
my goodness,
walked
that was
10
a serious situation
miles. Whoa, you know how far that is? And
to
if he in
walk.
the Berg, if he in the Berg, it might have been December, so it was freezing cold outside. Shout out to BJ. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's okay. Shout out Pittsburgh. So like, that's a predator. You actually know that this person doesn't have 100% consent because their mind is already not clear, and they're looking to fill a void, and you in this healing, alleged healing space, whatever you're credentialing to say that you can heal somebody, um you took advantage. You manipulated the space in which he was seeking from you, and took advantage of whatever your personal voids and issues of abandonment and so forth like that, and manipulated the situation to your advantage because of whatever reasons that you and your husband were on a break. That doesn't say go manipulate somebody. There's plenty of other people your age that would have entertained and been able to provide whatever it was that you were trying to fill.
Now, I will say this: he was of age, but what you're speaking of is that that relationship of somebody you trying to build some trust with
Mm-hmm.
to divulge information to get help,
Mm-hmm.
not be sexed, to get help.
I mean,
Listen, that's what it ultimately is.
mm-hmm.
It's to get help. And the thing about her,
Then what are you getting help for? Your intimacy, sexual urges, or your heart and whatever you need to be healed from, previous relationship or whatever.
yeah, they said something about his mental state, right? So then,
Which is even another layer on why she would
right.
be a
So when
predator.
they say that, there's something that they even perceive to be off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere he's something just ain't right, whatever
Mm-hmm.
it may be. And then the next sentence, she says, "But I wasn't right." So you, as the much more mature adult who's lived this life, you gonna go and play the victim one sentence later.
Mm-hmm.
One sentence later. So ain't no accountability. And granted, like they said, it was old, and we sitting here judging and talking about it, but it's a learning point to, especially for me, when you see somebody who you can't make happy. And this is why
Mm-hmm.
I tell people you can't watch these entertainers and actors, because people out there also know who Steph Curry and Aisha Curry is. She was
Mm-hmm.
on Jada Pinkett's Red Top Table, whatever that situation is.
Red table talks.
Yep, that one.
That
And
right there.
expressed to her how she likes attention from other people, and Jada was trying to give her some. Listen, that's why I tell people don't live in the fairy tale of Hollywood. That sugar honey iced tea is madness. It's madness. I mean, it's cuckoo. You can have one person, and both of those people come from. Steph Curry made 37 to $40 million a year,
Mhm.
and she unhappy. This man is playing ball every day.
Right.
So you can live a life that only other people could. They could dream about. They can only see on Instagram.
Right. But does money fuel your entire relationship?
They, to me, they love Jada Pinkett and
Mm-hmm.
Aisha Curry. They
Mm-hmm.
love the status. They
Mm-hmm.
love the symbol that Will and Steph Curry could bring,
Right.
and all the trinkets that come with it. Will Smith been buying her trinkets for a long time,
For a long time. And
so
he has
she.
the resources to do it, but she's verbally said,
I don't want it.
I
I
don't want
spent
it.
a year planning your birthday and you was ungrateful to say what you said and was bold enough. See, right then and there, that's on Will Smith. You like the punishment. You went all out of your way to do something that nobody has ever done for a woman on the face of the earth. And you ungrateful. I brought you the moon. I went
It
and
sounded like you was about to do the Snoop Doggy Dog kind
brought you the moon. I set you the moon down on the table and you
right,
was like, I wanted the sun. Ain't don't nobody else don't nobody else get the moon. You got the moon. You got
right,
everything. But
right.
like my movie said, a lot of men are glutton for punishment, and we are physical beings. She was
Mm-hmm.
effing his brains out. She was doing all kind of stuff to him. Think about what August said. He was in love. He ain't never experienced nothing like this.
At 22, 23,
He ain't
and
never.
you with a 40 plus somebody.
He ain't. She had ice cream, ice whips, chains, strawberries. She had everything laid out for this young boy.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't never seen nothing like it, man. Nothing
Right.
like it ever. And Will experience the same thing at a very young age, but they
Mm-hmm.
got their male ego and pride. They was a glutton for the punishment. They was a glutton for the punishment, and your pride only goes so far. I mean, the money only goes so far. If they don't really love you, it'll show. And
Mm-hmm.
we can't be naive. We can't lie to ourselves. We got if they're not giving it back, we got to be honest with ourselves, man, and love
Right.
yourself more, way more than anybody else can. Love yourself. Love yourself. When you elevate your crown, you elevate your love for yourself. The person who's trying to get at you, that's how they got to come at you. They got to come at you with a raised, elevated crown so they can even get in your space.
I just want to say if you are on Instagram and roll and it's about the time out, you can feel free to join us on Facebook at MARI Butterfly Love Elisa ELISA. And thank you for joining us. Or you can check it out the full video on Butterfly Love LLC on YouTube. Oh, one of your friends came over.
Nah, listen, this has been it's been eye opening. But I'll say real quick is don't have your relationships following Hollywood, man. Please don't. You drive yourself cuckoo, ladies, man. Find out what it is y'all good at, with y'all each bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Discuss issues before they even come up. And ladies, you know the men we probably won't be the ones initiating that. So you got to do some of the leading on some of this. And
Right.
sometimes, ladies, you got to take the lead. Sometimes,
Right.
men, it don't even click. Sometimes it don't even register, and that's where y'all come in, man. Y'all got that gift from God, man. So sometimes y'all got to lead, man. And when you leading, your man's crown will elevate, and he'll start to lift you up in the air, and y'all take off, man. So that'd be my words of wisdom and advice about you know um, some of these relationship things that we're going through. Because if we continue to follow a Jada Pinkett and a Will Smith and a
Mm-hmm.
August Alsina, you'll be driving yourself cuckoo. You'll be
Definitely will. Definitely will. So, we talked about healthy conflict, like resolving issues, being transparent, or, learning how to deal with stuff before it becomes conflictual, and how people have like cover up arguments around stuff that it's not really the argument, like the dishes in the sink and trash. And then we, ended out with the predator, sexual predator decisions and so forth, um, that people want to follow and
You
define.
can't, you can't. That is our little darling from different world and everything, man. We listen.
Just like you threw Bill Cosby's name into the mix as your example, she now joins the list, not necessarily with him per se, but when our perspective of who she is to us has changed
Right.
forever. And forgiveness is a fairy tale. So, we probably will still follow Red Table Talks because we're gonna wait for some new nugget to come out. But the reality is, I mean, she represents a lot of people, like it's other people who have her same or similar experience. So we have to take that into, to situations as well, because there are people who live certain lifestyles that resemble what she talks about.
Right.
And as people who don't understand it because it doesn't match who they are spiritually or personally, and they don't have an open mind around certain stuff. So, it's both sides of the coin.
It would have been cool if she would have went and got help to try to fix herself first before she went to fix August. Because obviously
True that.
she ain't do no fixing. All she did was get a fix,
She
get
got her fix.
fixed.
She
She
got
got
her spot.
tuned up. She tuned up August, made his notes go a little higher. She tuned him up. You know what I'm saying? Had him looking crazy like Get Out. Him and Will Smith both looked like they was on Get Out. They both looked like with the in an entanglement. They was in an entanglement.
They
She's
look
in
like
be
they tied up in the knot on the
I
with
would
the little
love
rope.
to, yeah, I would love to sit down and have a conversation with her, man. To just hear some of these crazy perspectives and see what Will, because Will is Will Smith. He didn't have to, he should have asked me a long time ago. He ain't have to put up with none of this shit. Sorry. Excuse my language. None of it. You made Independence Day. You made Wild Wild West. You made Jiggy with it. You made Summertime. Now Summertime's a classic. You made classic stuff for people
Right.
throughout our whole life. You didn't have to put up with this, man. Like, there's some sisters out there, Will, who would have made you very happy, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't even have to do half of the stuff that you did for
Cartwheels
this
and backflips.
ungrateful woman. And the power of the black womb is crazy.
Right. You always say
Protesting,
that.
protesting going on in the world. There's killing of innocent black men. Donald
Mm-hmm.
Trump is cuckoo as
Oh
hell,
my gosh.
and all of the madness. Joe Biden is running, and he's a predator too. See what I'm saying?
There's a
So
lot of
that's why
predators.
she could be out there, because we ain't gonna act like Joe Biden and Trump ain't predators. We're gonna talk about the sister. We're gonna talk about those disgusting
The
white
colonizers
men.
too. Right.
And you gotta vote for one of them. We ain't gotta vote for Jada. We ain't even got to never talk about Jada. But those two men, they got commercials running telling us which one is worse.
A
Which
mess.
which one is worse? That's what we got to deal with. And you know that I'll go on all night. But the power of the black woman, we got to lead. You can't use it to manipulate, and that was the manipulation tool. She
Mm-hmm.
dangled that cookie out there, and that young boy sniffed and sniffed, and it's 4 years later that he's talking about it. So think about how many nights he went to sleep thinking about it.
And hopefully he's in a therapeutic situation now to kind of really work through that. I mean, I
He,
thought
he
you was
probably
about to
had.
do the Jill Scott when you said the sniff and sniff, but you didn't go to the next one and sniff again, and then replied, Raheem, right?
No,
Right.
no. Yeah, Jill Scott's crazy. Jill Scott's crazy. But
We didn't name we didn't
Was
name
talking.
drop a whole bunch
Jill
of
Scott
people.
was talking to a grown person.
Right, all day long. She stays with grown people and grown conversation, as far as we know, as we don't live in her house, but as far as we know. So, if any of these conversations that we've had this evening, you feel like it represents your relationship or something that you need to kind of peel the layers of the onion back a little bit more, join us for a deep dive session, because sometimes you need to say, okay, well, this is my situation, help me understand, or this is what I'm experiencing, how can I be a better person? So, on Sundays, you could join us for Chocolate Crown episode, and then Thursdays, you register, you let us know that you're interested at Mary at butterflylovellc.com. Once you identify your interest, we'll send you the registration form and everything. And you can join us for a deep dive on Zoom. So, we just want people to get well, to represent being the kings that they are, the queens that they are, and so that we could just have the toolkit that's going to build us up better as we encounter whatever year has to offer us. Any closing remarks?
I mean, once again, thank you. Episode 2. We're gonna continue to get better and learn more and take the suggestions from the people who've watched and listened and possibly learned, hopefully laughed a little bit. But it's all about elevating that crown. It's about lifting that thing up, man, because living in this world, they trying to knock our crown off our head, man. And we can't allow that. Yeah, we can't allow that to happen. So our crown is under attack, and this is just a little space where we could try to go ahead and fix that thing and
Right.
and make it look right. So again, thank you. Shout out to Mary. Appreciate coming together. You got any questions? Like she said, if you want to peel back that onion and get a little deeper, I mean, we very knowledgeable on these topics. And like also said to you, if you got some young kings, man, who need some advice, some guidance, man, some talking to, some whipping our boys in shape, man, like get at me, man. $ underscore Fletch. Get at me, Fletcher Del Rico at 79 at gmail.com. Also, through the deep dive sessions, you can get at me there, man, because we must. If we don't raise ours, the next generation's crown gonna get knocked off. So again, I want to say thank you very much to everybody. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all.
Yes, peace and love. Thank you, kings and queens, for joining us this evening. Take care. Be safe.
I'm still live.